I don't know about you folks, but I'll never get tired of this free copper business from my trusty Aircon supplier. One of them anyway. Had to do a run of Aircon collections. One out to Ningi and then one out to Bribey. And well, the one out to Bribey was a bit of an unexpected one because he said it was too heavy to throw in his van. So we went out there, collected it. It was a dual indoor unit aircon, which was a bonus. But also upon pickup, all this free copper was sitting there for me, ready to take away. I've said it many times, he never wants money for the copper, and actually to say the cable either. Doesn't want any money for it, just happy that I buy the scrap aircons off him and that's it. Sometimes I go to him, sometimes he drops them off to me. It's a pretty good arrangement, I reckon. So yeah, I've got to unload only, I can leave the aircons on, but this copper and cable, I kind of got to get that off because there's a crook that gets around sometimes on a scooter. I may have mentioned it before in another video. There's a crook that gets around and he likes to help himself to what's on the trailer. So we don't leave the good stuff on, but if he reckons he can drag a unit out, go for your life, mate. I actually, surprisingly enough, I actually did an aircon pickup yesterday as well from one of my regulars. He's actually getting very busy now too, compared to how he used to be. Here's another one who's coming along nicely since he's actually moved into a shed. And he was telling me too that that crooks have dropped over in his yard before too, stealing aircon heads from him. So yeah, let's just grab this shit. I've got to fold all this up later and add it to my free copper collection. How can I help you, Miss Nirvana? How can I help? It's the mask.
See that lizard? Give me a heart attack.
Really? A lizard?
It looked like snake.
Oh, was it one of those ones?
Yeah.
The legless lizard.
Scary.
Shit pants, eh? Fucking hell. Right.
I cut the palm leaf and then be there. I see all these characters. I see all these things. Oh God.
Yeah. And?
It's really scary.
Okay.
I saw the snake.
You thought it was a snake, but it was a legless lizard.
And then after that, I look at something. That lizard is Jesus.
There you go, eh? You hear that? The wife nearly had a heart attack. Look, let's just put this on pause for a minute and we'll get back to you in a second. So, okay, so here's what we're doing today. Just a little bit of cable sorting. That one. That's for stripping. And let that one slip by. And here is here, high grade, look. I'll cut that off. Let's cut that off. High grade and high grade. Oh look, plugs. Plugs are here. Cut these plugs off. There, plugs. Amazing stuff. Oh, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yeah, there's a bit of copper there, but gosh, you must want to pull it out. Look. Tug of war. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Pull. You pull. Hurts my bloody fingers. Ah! Fucking hell. Crikey, bro. Ow! Alright. Yeah, well, we can call that bear bright too. Look at that, eh? Bit of bonus material. I don't do that with all the cable like that, but there are exceptions. Oh, look. We'll fold that into a nice little clump once I put this foam down. High grade, as I said earlier, not for stripping, like over here too, see? It's all high grade, and just not long enough to waste our time stripping. And so also someone suggested I do a video in regards to the different types of cable, which I've still got to get ready to. I said it was a good idea. I just haven't done it yet. Now all this here is the cable that we're going to strip as we go through, well, as the missus goes through the cable to determine strippable cable and cable that just gets tossed into there to sell as is. What have we got here? Or is it just another 2.5? Here, I think it's just another 2.5, is it? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it's another 2.5. It's okay. So next is me. What am I doing? Well, I've got to rip the steel casings off these aircons here. There's 7 there, and over here is 10, which I did yesterday. So these were just getting all for the full strip down. I reckon once I've done these 7, I may do enough so that 25 is done, or maybe 20. And then I've got to get stuck into the aircon heads. And a number of weeks ago, I saw Sculler Metals, not the same brand, but he bought one of these things. And yes, I do have a cable cutting tool from Milwaukee, which works fantastic. Costs a lot of money too, mind you. But this thing here is $200, which came with a battery and a charger. And yeah, works fantastic for cutting cable and copper pipe that isn't too big. Works bloody brilliant, just like that. They're powerful too. So if you can't get a cable cutter because they're too expensive, or something to cut copper pipe, consider these pruners. They're freaking awesome. But anyway, time for me to rip some shells off and get to work. Right, so here's what I've done. I've moved the air cons from here, and this cable here, actually this has been sitting here for a little while because we've put it in the too lazy to do basket. This cable here has got metal clips or brass clips along it. I can't quite see them, I'll have to go looking for. Oh, here, look, there's one, for example. So yes, we're going to go over all of that to remove these bloody clips. We just haven't been bothered to do it. We'll get there. So anyway, they're all here, spaced out nicely, and I can get these shells off now without too much hassles. And usually what I'll do is I'll take all the screws off from these brass taps off every unit, and then I'll go around and cut all the brass off. So unscrew them all because they're all drained. Unscrew, and then after that I'll cut all the brass taps off, and they can go in their nice brass bucket. And then after that it's just a matter of going around and unscrewing all the shells and throwing them into a nice little pile. And then after those, I should be ready for another steel sell off. Looking at that trailer out the front there, which is getting pretty full. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that sometimes you encounter stubborn screws that don't want to come out, especially while you've got the aircon in this position. So when that kind of happens, what I tend to do is I'll go around and I'll undo the screws on the back of the aircon, because otherwise what I found was when you tip the aircon up on edge like this, all those screws on the back will either clog up and fill with dirt or stuff like that, and then it just becomes a little bit of a nuisance for your tool bit to unscrew them. And then you find you've got to grab like a skinny flathead and clean them out before you put your tool bit inside. So just keep that in mind, depending on where you're working. Undo the back screws, and then you're good to tip it up on edge like that. Undo the screws then, and all is happy days. But I've got to try this one, see how we go. And well, if it's too tough, I'll flip it. Otherwise, if it does the job nicely from where I am here, actually, let's have a look. Yapping away, bloody hell. It comes out easily enough, that does. As I film, and you know, painful viewing, isn't it? Fuck this shit. I need to answer that. In the end, I'd suggest when you unscrew, always unscrew from the back first anyway, because it is most likely the case that you're going to have to push this up on edge regardless to undo the rest of these screws, as it's easier to put downward pressure on instead of sideward pressure for stubborn screws. So just keep that in mind. Unscrew the back, then tip it, and then you can undo the rest. Piece of cake. So as you can see, all the seal shells have now been removed. So the next step I'm going to do to make the wife's job over there a little easier, although I haven't done it with those ones yet, but she started ahead of me. What I do next is I'll go around, I'll take all these fans off, and the electric motor off, and this stand off. And then basically after that, while I'm doing that, she'll follow along behind me, and she'll remove the circuit boards and cut the copper all out. Then all that's left for me to do is remove that compressor, which is pretty straightforward. Now, I used to, once upon a time, do the whole aircon in one go, and that was including the circuit board. Sometimes I still do it, depending on what kind of circuit board's there. If it's something small and pretty easy, I'll just go ahead and do it. Maybe something like that, for example, pretty straightforward. But if it's if it's like these, we'll just cut them out and then we throw them over here. All over here in this monstrosity of a pole, which all has to be done. But slowly, it gets done, and then it looks like this again. And there we are. You can see the chief's handiwork here. I'm screwing the electric motor. Wrong bucket.
No, it's not wrong. Didn't have another bucket.
Okay, fair enough. Worry about that later. And that's that. Happy days. Fans and motors are out. Got them all done. As you can see, fans are all there. And these are all the motors, including some plugs, which I just thought I'd do as well. Fans, well, they take up a bit of space in the bin. So basically all you do to avoid that is stand in the middle and do that around the blade. Knock the plates off and they fit in the bin a lot better. Probably admiring my nice feet, Chinese safety boots, but with all this nice green grass. Why the hell not, eh? Don't mind the shadows. Wonderful. I'll keep on doing that shortly, but still I'll help the missus over there to catch up to where we are over here. That there, one bucket of number 2 copper. Don't know how heavy it is. I don't really care, to be honest, but so far that's from that over there that was still going, and of course still all those. Now I just got to tip that in the number 2 drum. This here is the number 2 drum, and well, and it hops. Amazing stuff. And I reckon a wobble. I should have enough number 2 by the Friday to take it to the yard. And we're slowly wrapping up here. Slowly. As Dominic's putting the electric motors in the electric motor drum. And well, all this steel may look ugly, but it'll stay there until I load up the trailer to do a scrap steel sell-off, which basically can be any day, tomorrow even, if I want to do it. But we'll see what happens in the morning on my motivation levels. So anyway, there's like 2 left here, and that is a wrap after that. Now this one here, I'm working on actually removing the circuit board. Pretty straightforward, it's not too hard. Chunk of extruded alley on the back, a couple screws undone, and well, this whole thing here will slip on out. And well, I don't know, maybe there's another bucket of, oh hang on a minute, we've got over there bit of another bucket of number 2 by the look of it, and there's probably a small bucket of number 1 which has the missus has been cutting off as well. I'm going to press on and we can see the end result basically once we're done. And here is bucket number 2 of copper. Tip it in, Damien. Yeah. We can get it all tangled up in that handle. Kenny, you always untangled it. That's a win. Oh. Yeah, it looks a bit fuller. Just a little bit. That'll do, I reckon. Looking good there, folks. Beautiful. There we have the last bucket of number 2 from today's scrapping. Isn't that fantastic? Bloody awesome. And these things over here, as I've said in the past, these are the easiest transformers in the world to scrap, okay? The easiest. Now, be sure when you encounter these when scrapping aircons, you just give them a bit of a touch up with the grinder and make sure that they are copper, because they're starting to bring out some aluminium ones now, but the copper ones, keep them and put them aside because they are unreal. And I'll add these to my hefty little pile over on the table. So these here, we can add them to those over there. All copper. All unreal. And that's the end of the day, folks. The end of the day. Everything done. Compressor well, I've unscrewed. I've just got to lift that up and chuck it over here. Bit of bright that we got from that cable that we pulled earlier. And I'll chuck that under the house. I have the missus bloody mask. Just worried about the dust carrying on. So there's some rats there, as you can see. The steel bucket just here. Yes, a monstrosity. But as I said earlier in the video, most likely I'll just chuck it directly on the big trailer when I'm about to do the scrap steel sell-off, which possibly tomorrow morning. More rats there, as you can see. A total of 17 rads. I'll do a couple more aircons tomorrow, which I'll prepare. Oh, like a bit of steel here too. Yeah, because I've got to mow the lawn as well. As I said, I'll bring the total of rads up to 20, and then we can do some aircon head peeling and get some rads from those. So I've got to tidy that shit up too. And that, my friends, can bring us to the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you wish, and also don't forget the most important part, to like and subscribe. So I'm going to wrap us up. Time to head upstairs, have a coffee, a shower, feed up, I don't know, play a bit of Minecraft or something. I've only just started playing this crap with the kids. Anyway, time for me to peace out. We'll catch you in another video real soon. See you later, folks.